Hello, guys. How are you all? Amazing. Am I audible? I've actually done some setup changes, so just let me know. Is my voice audible as such? So, guys, is my voice audible? Everybody? I think it is audible. Perfect. Great. So, how are you all? I hope you are doing absolutely fine, right? Time series EDA. So this will probably be the best. And this kind of videos I have not uploaded in time series kind of thing in my YouTube channel, dedicated videos. So I was pretty much excited to basically take up this live sessions. So it'll be pretty much amazing. Okay. So first of all, hit like, share with all your friends wherever you can. Let's make this live session amazing, because if this continues in this way, I will probably take live sessions the entire year. In the further classes, I'll also be coming up with deep learning, big data, and probably we'll be seeing Django, Flask, object detection. A lot of things will be coming up as we go ahead. Okay. So, is my voice audible? Can you give me a confirmation, everyone, quickly? Is my voice audible, everybody? Okay, perfect. Great. So let's start. So how is the entire series going to look at? So probably today we are going to do EDA with time series of data. Why this is specifically important? Because whenever you get a problem statement with respect to EDA, with respect to time series data, you really need to follow some of the steps, and that specific steps I will be doing. Tomorrow we will be discussing about ETS, EWMA, ARIMA, SARIMAX, ACF, PSEF, SARIMAX, and FB profit. So this will probably happen in tomorrow. Today, why I'm specifically taking EDA with time series data, because it will take a lot of time, because here we are going to discuss about a lot of visualization also, okay, and how you can probably play with a lot of parameters. Then tomorrow we are going to cover, and tomorrow a lot of maths will get involved in all this subject, in all these topics that I'm actually going to cover. Then third day we will focus on machine learning project with time series. So this is what we are actually going to focus on, where by using Arimax or Serimax, we will try to solve some problems. One stock forecasting project we can take over here, and we'll try to solve it. And there are also some projects like sale forecasting and all. We'll try to do it in the third day. In the fourth day, we will try to cover this, but many people have requested, Krish, we don't know deep learning. And if you don't know deep learning, it will be very, very difficult to understand how we can implement time series with the help of deep learning. Okay. So that is the reason why I'm saying let's see whether we'll go for fourth day or not. Otherwise, after this session, we are also going to start deep learning, deep learning live sessions. Now, in deep learning live sessions, it will be for 7 days. That will probably be my next live session, and we will try to understand many, many topics as we go ahead. Okay. So, what are the today's topic that we are going to focus on? Is that the first topic that we are going to see is Pandas data reader. This is an amazing library which can actually provide us some amazing financial data. Apart from that, there is a lot of data set that is available in the internet also. So we'll try to focus and do that. We'll try to understand what is date time index, what is time resampling, time shifts, mean rolling and expanding, time series visualization, which is pretty much important, and one sample project kind of thing we'll do with respect to time series, where we'll analyze some kind of data and try to take out some kind of meaningful information. Okay, so this is what we are going to do tomorrow. And day after tomorrow, we'll focus on machine learning projects related to time series data. Overall, excited? Yes? So shall we start, everyone? Shall we start? And please hit like before we start, definitely. Okay, so all these things we are going to cover today. So to start with, I really want to show you one library which is called as Pandas Data Reader. Okay, so Pandas Data Reader, it is an amazing library which will actually help you to provide some kind of financial data. So here you can see up-to-date remote data access for Pandas works for multiple versions of Pandas. Okay, so in order to do it, first of all, you need to install Pandas Data Reader. And internally, if I go and probably see in remote data access, so here you will be able to see, you'll be able to get data from this many different platforms. Okay, like Tingo, IEX, Alpha Vantage, Econb, Enigma, Quandl, World Bank, OECD, Eurostates, and all. And for this, you also require some kind of API key. If probably you don't have an API key, one thing you can do is that you can basically go and log in into the account and create an API key. But if you don't have an API key also, then also we can actually read that specific data. Okay, so I'll try to show you how we can read that data, and it will be quite interesting. So let's start. And let's start with the first thing. What I'm actually going to do, install Pandas Data Reader. The first step, I'm going to basically install Pandas Data Reader. Okay, Pandas Data Reader, because whenever we are working with a kind of time series data, always remember that that data deals with a lot of data and time values. Okay, so that is first of all very much important. You can construct manually also those kind of data, but it is okay that in this live series we try to take up data like stock markets data itself, different share price data of different companies. Okay, so first of all, we'll install this, and let's go ahead and install it. Installing is very simple. As said, pip install Pandas Data Reader. So all you have to do, just write over here as this, and here you have the entire library getting installed. So here it shows requirement already satisfied, and probably I have already installed this because I need to take the session and I don't want to face some kind of errors that we faced in the last day of EDA. So I need to try all those things and probably do it. Okay, everybody clear with this? So install Pandas Data Reader. Now the next step that we will probably focus on is, let me just show you what we'll focus on in the next step. Just give me some time so that we start executing the code quickly. Because I also want to see your comments, because some people may scold. I don't know why, but yes. Okay, then here it is. And what we are actually going to do over here, first of all, we need to import this libraries, that is pandas underscore data reader. So you can import this library, because with the help of this library only we are going to read that specific data. So pandas data reader as pdr. Okay, and I'm also going to import pandas as pd so that I will be able to use this. And apart from that, let me import one very important library which is called as from. Okay, from date time. I'm going to use this date time, and date time is a library. If you're probably working with time series data, you really need to have this. Okay, so I'm going to import date time. Okay, so these three are the libraries that we will probably require for doing most of our work. Now the next thing that I'm actually going to do is that with the help of this data reader, how do we read a specific data set, a financial data set? That is what we are going to see. So if you are write pdr dot, here you can see a lot of data are actually available, like Bank of Canada. You have get components underscore y Yahoo, get daily summary underscore IEX, get data underscore alphantage, get data enigma. We have lot of different datas, like with respect to Quandl also. For some of the as I said right over here, for accessing this through this particular code, you'll require an API key, right? But directly to access this through this, if I don't want any API key, then how do I read something? Okay. Okay, how do I read something? Okay guys, Is my screen visible? Because I can see probably in 1080 pixels. I don't think so it is blurred. Your internet speed is very slow. Okay, so use Jio 5G and try to increase your speed. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to read some data set. And right now we are basically going to read the data set. There is with respect to one thing like IEX, and this IEX will actually help you to get data also through Google Finance. If you want from Yahoo Finance, you can basically take this. Okay, so here I'm going to basically take get data underscore Yahoo. Okay, so Yahoo Finance I'm going to basically see, and I'm going to pick up the data. So which stock price, which stock data you want to really take up? Okay, it is up to you. You can take any kind of data that you want. Let's say that most famous data right now will be Tesla, right? So if I probably see Tesla share price, okay, so Tesla is basically written as TSLA. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. Let's see whether I'll be able to read Tesla dataset or not. And if I execute it, you will be able to see something data from 24 to 2022. The starting date is 2017 and the ending date is 24/02/2022. So that basically means that here you will be able to get the data of the past 5 years. From today till the past 5 years, you'll be able to see all the data set available over here. Okay, and here you can basically see that how you can by default any stocks you want to basically see, go with respect to Facebook, with respect to Microsoft, with respect to Tesla. So all this data you'll be able to see just in one line of code. Okay, and here the data that you are actually able to see is like high, low, open, close, volume, adjacent, close. Okay, so these are some of the information with respect to any stock share price that you can actually see over here. Okay, with respect to Indian stocks, yes, definitely there are some of the websites, third-party websites that can actually provide you that specific data, but again you have to pay for that. Okay, so right now I'm just going to save this in df underscore Tesla, which will basically say it is a data frame. So if I probably go and see type of df underscore Tesla, you'll be able to see that it is a data frame. Perfect. So I hope everybody has done that, and if you really want to go and see df underscore Tesla dot head, you will be able to see this specific data. And as I said that the tail will probably have till 24th to 2020. It's amazing, right? You will be able to get this entire information just in a single line of code. Okay, perfect. Now let's go to the next step. Let's go and just plot this entire things. Okay, plot this entire things. Here you'll be able to see a lot of different values like this volume. If I just try to plot it, plotting time series data is also an amazing task because you will be able to see a lot of information from that. Okay, so here what I'm actually going to do over here is that I'll just say df underscore Tesla. The best way to plot, I'll just write dot plot. And obviously, in this kind of data, volume will be seen in much way, because here you can see that it's quite huge. Volume basically means how many number of shares are basically been traded on that specific day. Okay, so here you can see df underscore Tesla dot plot. And if I probably execute this, here you can see all very cumbersome plotting you can see over here. Obviously, volume will be a lot of this because you have a very huge value over here, right? But we'll not try to plot it in this specific way. Okay, so we will try to see it in a different way over here. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm just going to write df Tesla with respect to, let's say I want with respect to high, and I'm just going to plot like this. Now here you can see that the plotting looks quite good, but one thing that I really want to do, because obviously this looks very small, the figure looks very small, so please make sure that you write fig size. Okay, fig size is equal to 12,4. I'll use 12,4 so that my at least figure looks quite big. Okay, so here you can basically see from probably from the start of 2020, the Tesla stock price has increased tremendously, and currently it is going down. Obviously, why it is going down recently? Can anybody tell me why it is going down? Come on, tell me. Okay, but why it is going down recently? Okay, you know the answer, right? So obviously the price is going down. There is some specific reason for that. Russia is trying to raise. It's already raised an amazing war with Ukraine, which should not happen. We should definitely work for peace, and can't help. You know. So even diplomatic talks are not working. Can't help. Okay. So because of that, right now you can see the price is going down. God bless Ukraine, right? That is what we can basically say. Okay, DF underscore Tesla with this plot figure size of 12,4. So here you can basically see the data over here. Okay, now obviously my data looks like too much. It is like everyday updates are actually happening. Let me do one thing. I'm really interested in this region, where this price has really increased at this point of time, right? So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to put some X limit and Y limit also. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm just going to copy the same line of code. Okay, I'm going to copy the same line of code. Apart from this, I can actually give my X limit and Y limit. Okay, so here I'm actually going to say X limit and Y limit. So X limit and Y limit, I really want to provide some limit with respect to this so that I can see that graph clearly. And similarly to this, with respect to the Y limit also, I want to provide some value, some limitations. Okay. Now, in order to provide X limit, I will just say Xlim is equal to in this specific list. You can also provide the X limit in a tuple or in a list. So here I'm actually going to specify some date, and that date will probably start from 2020, let's say from 0101 till, and I only also need to provide my end date from till what date I specifically want. Let's go till 2021. I want probably till September and probably 01st. Okay, so here you can see that I have my X limit. Now if I try to execute, now my data will basically be shown from 2020 January till 2021 September. Now I can definitely see how my data is actually moving, right? Now with respect to this, if you also want to make the change with respect to the Y plot, I can also do that. All I have to do over here is that just go ahead and write with respect to Y limit. And here you can basically again give a tuple value or a list value. It is up to you. Let's give a tuple list value over here. I'll say from 0 to probably 1000 or 800 will look absolutely fine, right? So if I execute this, now it is shown between 0 to 800, but still it is going up. I'm just going to keep this as 900. Okay, so now if I execute it, now you can see my graph a little bit much more better than the previous one. Okay, candlestick plot also I'll show you how to do it, but just focus right now. We'll go step by step. Okay, everything we will do it, don't worry. Okay, now is this clear, everybody? Are you liking the session? Are you able to understand everything? Just quickly tell me. Yes, yes, everybody. I hope everybody is loving the session. Priyanka, you will be able to read the data if your pandas data reader is successfully installed. Okay, Ravi Shankar, please check your internet connection. Connect with Jio 5G. It will give you better net connection. Okay, so that you can see the screen properly. Okay, okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and let's try to discuss the further things over here. What we can also do is that I can also apply some kind of coloring. So let's apply some and coloring, I'll say, because I also need to apply the coloring so that you know how to play with different parameters, so that you basically be able to see in this. Suppose if I say, okay, fine, I'm going to use a specific color. Let's say that I'm going to use a color like green. Okay, so if I execute this here, you'll be able to see in green color, right? And obviously you know that in matplotlib you have various parameters. So if you're using dot plot, that basically means data frame is internally using a lot of plots, a lot of if I say data frame is actually using internally this matplotlib visualization library. So what I can also do, one more parameter I can use, the line style. Okay, so line style, also I can probably put something like this, double dash. So if I use double dash, you will be able to see something like this, where I can also see some dotted lines. Okay, so it'll be quite amazing when you'll be probably be able to see different things in an amazing way. Okay, so this is how my plot actually looks at. Okay, so yes, we will probably see more things in visualization, and try to capture more and more information. Okay, so this was with respect to this, and now what we can further do is that uh, see, one way of basically taking a specific data set is through XLimit. Okay, so one question to you: can we use broadcasting indexing to also do this similar task? Okay, so this will be a question to you because we have already done EDA, 4 days EDA sessions, so you should be definitely be able to answer it. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's try to probably do some more things with respect to this. So you know that if I probably read any kind of information, okay, probably if I let's say, suppose this is my entire df underscore apple, sorry, Tesla. Okay, this is my data. If I probably try to execute dot index, then you will be able to see that I'm actually able to get all the dates, right? So over here specifically, I'm able to get the dates. Suppose if I just want this specific dates, how do I read these dates? How do I read these indexes? Can anybody tell me? If I want to read a specific index, let's say I want to read this first 4 columns, first 4 rows, how do I read it? This will be a task for you. Tell me, guys. Okay, tell me, how do I read this first 4 rows? Okay, first 4 rows. Yes, I can see some answer over there. Many people are actually saying it. Let's go and write that specific code. So suppose if I say that, okay, fine, df underscore Tesla dot location, that this location basically means row location, right? Suppose I want this specific data with the same time frame. Let's say I told you, right, this one from 2020. Okay, I want this entire data, and then I want to basically say from colon, and I want to basically say 2021, and this will go till September 9, 2001. And if I execute it, so here you can see that from 2020, I'm able to receive all this particular data. And if I probably write dot index, then I will be able to get all my indexes, that is specifically with respect to my date. Okay, now let's say that, okay, fine, this is my index. Okay, I'm going to save it, and tell me what will I get probably if I execute this. If I execute this, and probably I'll write open over here. So what will I get? Okay, what will I get? So here will basically my stock open, or let me just write my share price open, right? Open data, and here I'm just going to execute it, right? So here I definitely, if you go and see my share underscore open, here you are actually able to get the open data set with respect to this specific data, right? In the index, you will be able to see all the dates that you are specifically wanting it. Why I'm specifically doing it, don't worry, I'll tell you, because I'm just going to plot some amazing diagrams and try to show you what all things we can actually do. Okay, so till here, I think everybody's clear, right? So you can basically write down the code, everyone. Right? So till here, everybody is clear. Can I get a quick yes? Okay, perfect. Great, amazing. Right? Now, what I'm actually going to do, how do you draw a subplot? So I want to visualize in a way which will actually help me to give some kind of subplots with respect to a specific data, with respect to other information. Okay, so I will probably create a figure, and probably this will also give you knowledge with respect to working with matplotlib. So first thing first, I'm going to import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Okay, and here I'm just going to execute it. Let's say I'm going to also write matplotlib inline, right? Matplotlib inline, fine. Then what I'm actually going to do, let me make some cells. Okay, so here I'm actually going to create some kind of subplot so that I will be able to display some kind of data with respect to dates. Okay, so in order to create the plots, I will create my figure, comma, axis, and use plt.subplots. I hope I've made this video tutorial already in my channel. Okay, and then I'm going to basically say axis.plot and I'm going to basically take my information of the index, comma, what is the name that I have actually given over here with respect to the share open. Okay, so here I will just put it as share open. Okay, and then I will just execute it. Let's see how the share looks like. Here you can see that, okay, fine, I can see the open share price like this. But here you can see that something bad is happening. A lot of overlapping is actually happening, right? So in order to overcome this overlapping, what we can actually do, let's see. Okay, so in order to overcome this overlapping, I'll just write plot tight underscore layout. And if you probably see the definition of this, adjust the padding between and around subplots. Okay, so if I probably execute this, now you can see that somewhat padding is better. Now you can see 2020 02 2020 03 2020 04 and all. Okay, but still I'm not satisfied at all with respect to this. I need to probably use some kind of overlapping fixes, and how to do that, you can actually directly use this thing, that is figure dot, and there will be one function. Let me just see. There should be one function which will actually help you to do it. As integration is not working, let's see which. Figure dot auto fmt underscore xdate. I think this should work. So here now you can see that when I'm actually using this inbuilt function that is called as auto format xdate, so this is actually preventing overlapping. This is actually preventing a lot of overlapping. Okay, so here you can basically get an idea like what we are trying to do. Right now you can see 2020 01 2020 03 2020 05 07 9 11. This way all my data is basically been shown. Okay, so I hope you have. So can I give my figure size over here? Let's see. Plot dot subplots. Figure size also cannot be specified, I guess, because in subplots, if you try to specify figure size, it may get distorted. Okay, so that is the reason why we are specifically using in this way and probably expanding this diagram. Okay. Okay, so I hope you have got an idea about this and you are loving the session. Okay, so you have got this information. Now one more information with respect to something called as major axis we are going to do. That probably I'll just do it in the later stages so that it can actually give you some amazing way to check it out, all the information that you want with respect to the stock. Now let's go and discuss about one more EDA topic, which is called as date time index. So till now we have specifically worked with respect to date time data. Okay, now if I probably go and see my df underscore Tesla, and if I write dot info, so here if I'm executing it by default, you can see that, okay, fine, the index column, let's see. Okay, see this guys, everybody, if I write df dot Tesla dot reset index, if I execute this, here you will be able to see I'm getting a date time column separately now, because initially this was my date column as an index. Now suppose if I probably save it in df underscore Tesla over here and execute it, and if I write df underscore Tesla dot info, right? So here you can basically see that fine, I have a date column which is in the form of date time 64. This basically means that it is in the date time format. Okay, always remember, whenever you probably have some kind of data in which a date column is actually there, and that specific date column in most of the use cases you'll be seeing in an object format. Object basically means in a string format. Now in order to convert that, there are multiple ways. You can basically use something like pd dot date time. So here you also have pd dot date pd dot date range is coming. Pd dot let me just search for it. Pandas dot date time. Okay, pandas dot date time. So panda dot date time is one inbuilt function. Okay, 2 underscore date time. It's okay. See, sometimes if you don't remember, it is good to search it. So if you use 2 underscore date time and probably just give your df of date, then also it will try to convert it df underscore Tesla, then it will try to convert that into date time. Okay, so if this is an object, right now it is already in date time, so you'll be able to see it in date time. Okay, but now here you have already seen that if I'm writing df underscore Tesla, okay, here is my data set. Right now this date is not an index, right? It is always good that if you really want to plot in an amazing way, we set this as an index, but I did reset index over here. If I want to revert it, just write dot set index, and here you just specify your df underscore Tesla with respect to your date column. So if you execute this, here you will be able to see that it is there. But here still the date column has not been dropped. So I think there should be an option which is like drop is equal to true. Okay, so if I probably set it like drop is equal to true, then you can see that the drop is equal to true. But why it did not get dropped? Let's see. Press shift tab, drop bool is equal to true, append, set the date index, delete columns to be used as new index. So why it did not work out? Anybody? Set index df of Tesla, drop is equal to true. By default, drop is actually false, I guess. No, it is true. But how come it is not dropping? Anybody? Oh, set index, this set index with drop is equal to true. It should have worked, right? Okay. Okay, I do not had to write this again, I guess. If I just write this, I think it should work. Yes. Extremely sorry. So I was again writing df of date multiple times. Okay, so this is like this. And here I'm actually going to now get df underscore Tesla dot head. And here you can basically see that I'm getting that same index with respect to date. Okay. Clear, everybody? Yeah, in place is equal to true also can be used. So there was an in place operation, but what I was doing wrong is that I was writing df of date, right? Perfect. So till here, I hope everybody has understood. But now let's talk more about date time. Okay. So here I'm specifically going to talk about date time, right? Now date time, I've already shown you how to import date time. So I'll write from date time, import date time. Okay, so this is what is the thing that is written with respect to date time. You may be thinking what this is here. This is a developer error. Okay, he has created the same module inside the same module. Okay, with the same name. I think I don't know what he was doing at that point of time, but that is there, and now they cannot be changing it because it has a lot of internal different type of functions. Okay, now suppose if you really why this date time can actually play a very important role, because any kind of data set, when I say about this data, right, it is a date time object only. Okay, and with the help of this date time object, you can really play in an amazing way with respect to the date time data. Okay, suppose if I say I want to create a date, suppose let's say I want to create a date with respect to date time. So if I press shift tab, here you can see that I have parameters like year, month, day, hour, minute, seconds, microseconds, different things you can actually give. Okay, so here I'm probably going to give 2021. Let's say I'm going to basically give let's say 21st. Second parameter was the month, I guess. Yes, second parameter is the month. Suppose I give 11th and 21. If I execute this, here you can see that I'm getting an object with respect to a date time which is having 2021 year, 11th month, 21, this. If you also want to use something like date time dot now, and if I execute it right now, currently, what is the date time, what is the seconds, what is the milliseconds, that will be shown. And this keeps on changing. Here you can see that as you keep on executing. So if you really want to find out how much time a function is basically taking to get executed, you can basically start one date time and then end one date time like this. Let's see. I am probably creating a function. I want to create add numbers. Okay, so this is my function. This takes num1 comma num2, let's say, and it says return num1 plus num2. Okay, so this I basically want to check how much time it is basically getting executed. Okay, so here what I'll do, I will just say, okay, here that, okay, return is this. I can basically write like num1 is equal to 20, num2 is equal to 30. I'm just giving in this way. Let's say that this is my start time. Start time will be date time dot now, and then I'll call this particular function add num, where I'll give my num1 comma num2. Okay, and then I will probably end my time as saying as date time dot now. Okay, so this way I can definitely measure it, and this add underscore num, the start time will get initialized before assigning the variable, let's say over here. Okay, and then I can probably print end time minus start time. That's it. So if I execute it, here you will be able to see 0.00, because this is happening really fast, I guess. Okay, really fast. But if you have a bigger operation, bigger function, then you'll be able to see some values. Every time it is coming as 0.00. Yes, it is happening very fast. That basically means, okay. But if I probably say for I in, let's say for I in 1, 2, 3, 5. I'm just executing some loops, guys. That's it. I'm doing nothing but just executing some loops. Okay, so done. But also it is taking that much time only, 0.00 time only. It's okay. Okay, so but you can, I hope you have understood what you can basically do with the help of date time. This is just to show you an example. Okay, so this is done. Now what we can actually do, the next step is that, okay, date time is done. Now with the help of date time variable, suppose if I initialize this entire code into a variable like date is equal to this, okay, and then if I execute it, so here you can basically see that I'm getting date as this. Now what is the amazing property over here? Okay, guys, is the video becoming blur? Because I can see it completely in HD quality, guys. Do you want me to zoom in? Video is clear, right? Guys, go over there. There will be a setting options where you can select auto 1080p60. I don't have to tell you that much, right? You see a lot of YouTube videos, right? Obviously, video is not blur because I can see from my side the video is the utmost quality, right? Yeah, we can also add sleep. Okay. Okay, fine. Now let's go and see date dot. So if you go and probably write date dot date and probably call this as a function. So here you will be able to see this is my entire date. Okay. If you write date dot day, then here it will be int object is not callable. Okay, sorry. So if you probably write date dot day, here you are able to see that 21st is the day and I'm able to get the answer. If you write date dot week, weekday, again this is a function, I guess, and I'm just going to call this as a function, and here you can see 6. Why 6? Because this is today is the 6th day. Okay, today is the 6th day. And if you probably call date dot year, it is 2021. So all this information you can basically see. Again, if you want to probably check date dot anything is there, which I probably want. Hour is also there. Amazing. Hour is also there. Max, min, minutes, month is also there. I can just execute it 11. Okay, so it is obviously so many things are basically there. Okay, so great. Till now we have seen a lot of functionalities with respect to date time. Okay, now uh, okay, so till here date time index, I hope I've given you a very routine for things to basically follow in date time index. Now what we are going to learn about is something called as time resampling. This is quite amazing, quite important, okay, with respect to resampling. So I'm just going to make this as a markdown, and here I'm going to create a lot of cells. Okay. Now, first thing first, I'll write df underscore Tesla dot head. Obviously, you know that I have this entire information with respect to df dot Tesla. I've already shown you set index and reset index. Now let's go and work with respect to resample. Okay. Now, what is this resample? And probably I was like, there are a lot of options with respect to resample. I just want to show you one specific article. Okay. This was from Towards Data Science. Okay. Towards Data Science, some person had actually written, like Solani Mishra, a good article altogether where you have a lot of options, which is called as data offset options. Okay. This all options you can basically apply in your resampling techniques. Let me just show you some of them. Okay. So, and then we'll probably discuss about some of the sampling techniques. If I probably write df underscore Tesla dot resample, okay, and here if I go and see resample, okay, here there is something called a rule, access, and all information are there. Rule, the offset string or object representing the target conversion. I'll talk about what all different rules are there. Let's say that I'm going to use a rule which is called as A. Okay, I'll tell you what exactly is A. Okay, so rule, there is like A, B, different rule is there. So if I execute this here, you'll be able to see that we are getting as an output called as date time index resampler. Okay, date time index resampler. Suppose if I say dot min, now this, just see, focus over here. Min is an aggregate function. Okay, what it is going to do, you just see this. Okay, we already have 5 years data. Okay, 5 years with respect to everyday data. Okay, now if I execute this here, you'll be able to see, everybody focus over here. Now you will be able to see only 5 data, and every year last day is there, and for the entire year, which was the minimum high, which was the minimum low, which was the minimum open price, which was the minimum close price, which was the minimum number of stocks or shares that were traded, which was the minimum adjusted column. So this entire information is getting retrieved based on the minimum throughout the entire year. So this is an amazing way to basically find out the data, like in a specific year. Suppose if I want to find out what was the maximum share price that had gone for those specific years. So here in 2017 you can see that, okay, fine, I had 77, I had 77 over here. With respect to 2018 also I had 77. In 2019 also I had 87. Then here sudden increase is there. See, in 2020 it is somewhere around 718, and in 2021 it was somewhere around 1243. Now if I probably take this entire data, because if I write type of this, and with respect to this data, I'm actually going to get it as a data frame. So if I basically just plot this data, see how amazingly you will be able to see this. So suppose if I go and plot with respect to open dot plot, and if I execute this, you will be able to see how big rise is there from 2019 to 2021, right? So this looks amazing, right? This actually gives you a very good information. Okay, this actually gives you a very good information. Right? So I hope you are able to understand why we are actually doing this and why we are executing this, right? This is an amazing way to get some information like this. Now, what was this rule A? Let's go and see this. Somewhere here, rule A should be mentioned. If it is not mentioned, let me have a look in another documentation. Probably I will be able to see that. Rule A basically means year end frequency. Okay. So if I want to talk about this, A basically means year end frequency. So that basically means the end of the year data you are basically going to start. Suppose you want quarterly. Okay. So I will also show you that specific code. So if you want quarterly, okay. Now with respect to quarterly, I'm just not going to take this and plot it. Instead, what I'm actually going to do, I'm just going to change the uh, probably change this rule itself. If you want quarterly start frequency, and again, you can Google it and you will be able to find the codes. Again, this entire page link, I'll put it over here to you all so that you can check it out. So here, I'm just going to write this page link over here so that you will be able to check it out. And here, if I write QAS and if I write dot max, so here you can see quarterly with respect to quarter start frequency. So 1, then 4, then 7, then 10. With respect to quarterly information, I'm able to get. Now, if I probably just take high and just plot it, you will be able to see much more better diagram. But here you can see how quarterly it is rising. This to this quarter, it was a huge jump, right? So here also you'll be able to see this plot. Right? Everybody clear? Everybody clear? Similarly, let me just talk about some more examples. Business end year frequency is also there. So if I talk about this and if I copy and paste it over here, this will be my business end frequency. Business end frequency. And here I'm just going to write it as BS, I guess. Business year stand business year. Okay, the formula, the full form, if you probably see, right? If I probably write BA, this basically means business year end frequency. I'm seeing the same Stack Overflow, sorry, towards data science link. So here you will be able to see with respect to this. And again, data, you can see over here 2017, 18, 19, 20. How does the data look like? That also I can actually show you. So here is how the data will look like. 29 business year was getting over at 29th. Here it got over at 31st, 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 30. Why it has got 29? Because probably that day may be a Friday and you are actually able to see this. One more is there, which is called as business quarters. Business quarters. So here you basically say business QS, BQS. So here you can see second, third, second, from when the business is basically getting started. So different options. You can definitely check it out and you can actually have a look. Okay, great. Till here, everybody's clear? Till here, everybody's clear? So suppose if I also try to plot and probably try to create some kind of, let's say, I'm just going to copy this entire thing. Okay, and let's do some plotting. Okay, so I will do some kind of plotting. So if I take up DF Tesla and probably plot the open, I can also take a single column and already do resample of this. Take the mean max. Suppose if I want the mean, I can also take the mean dot plot and I can use a bar plot over here. So specifically if I write kind is equal to bar, you will be able to see this kind of plots also. So here you can see, wow, here is an amazing rise, right? See this graph. This graph has some kind of structures. Okay. Business end. If I want A, you can also use A. Probably it will actually not double A. Okay. So here also you can see some kind of plots, which looks quite amazing. Okay. There is also with respect to something called as M. Okay. So let's see what is the data with respect to M. If I probably change from this rule to M and if I write dot mean. Okay. So here I am actually getting what? 28 to 31st 3 every month. Okay, this is for monthly data. Okay, monthly mean I'm actually trying to get. If you want monthly max, you can actually use this. Okay, and then probably if you want to plot it also, you can plot it. So here I'm actually going to plot with respect to the kind of bar chart. So here you can basically see how the data looks like. Oh my god, this is really very much like completely integrated. But again, don't worry, we can actually fix this. Here I'm just going to use figure size. Okay, I'm just going to use figure size and make this plot a little bit beautiful. Let's say 15,6. I'm going to use, what is the error? Dot fix size. Okay, fine. So now it looks quite good, right? Wow, this is an amazing rise, right? Probably from 2019 12 to 2020 first, you can see the graph is increasing like this. So by this seeing this data, you can definitely come to know that which day, which year, which month the maximum increase was there, right? So this was with respect to resample. Did you like this session or not? Hit like. Unless and until you don't complete 500 likes, I'll not teach. I'm kidding. It's up to you. Okay, it's good. So once we complete some more EDA, then we will probably start. I'll start giving you some assignments. Okay, don't worry. I'll start giving you some assignments. Right? This looks good, right? All the graphs, data. Because whenever I've seen people working with time series data, right, they are really afraid. I don't know why. Why? Because it's good. Like the library is quite strong. Arima and all, tomorrow it will happen, guys. Today only, without doing EDA, if I'd show you forecasting, then done. No, everybody will leave the class and go. Okay. 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 Now, let's talk about three main keywords. One is called as rolling, expanding, and we will try to understand about rolling and expanding. What is exactly rolling? Because in Arima, when we are probably doing rolling, we will be able to understand some amazing things. Okay, and yeah, obviously you will be able to get to know something about these things. Okay, so it is good that we know about rolling and expanding. Okay, so here you basically have df Tesla dot head. So this is my data right now. Okay, and probably if I take only one information, let's say I want df underscore Tesla of high and write dot head. So here you'll be able to see some information. Now what I'm actually going to do is simple. There is an inbuilt function which is called as rolling. Rolling dot. If I say what exactly is this rolling? This rolling here you have to give some kind of window. Okay. When you are probably giving some window, that basically means it is going to. Okay, I'll show you the output and probably then you'll be able to understand. So if I probably say rolling of 10 days, okay, and execute it. So here you can see that it is a rolling window as 10, center as false, axis as 0. Axis as 0 basically means we are doing it for the columns. If I do axis, sorry, rows, I'm doing it for rows. If I do it for axis is equal to 1, that basically means we are doing for column is equal we are specifically doing for columns. So if I write rolling as 10, and probably if I write dot, then I can apply an aggregate function and try to find out the mean. So here you can see that initially, let me just show you df of underscore Tesla dot head. Now what is happening? I'm just trying to find out the rolling mean. That basically means initially when I go one step down, that basically means this two will just move one step down. We'll make the mean of this and we'll try to find out the answer. Then when we go down, then again the mean of this two will get calculated and we are going to go down. Similarly, when we go down, we are going to calculate the mean and go down. Okay, so this is specifically happening with respect to the high column that is actually shown over here. Okay, so after 10 records, probably you'll be able to see all these values as you go down. So if I write dot head of 20, here you'll be able to see the main different mean values. As you keep on going down, you make the values as nan. So if I probably make 11, then you can see that these two values mean will get calculated and this value will become nan. If I want to show you, I can show you here also. So see, for this particular data 2017 310, this value will now become nan. Okay, so here you can see this as value has become nan because now we have calculated the mean and we have gone down. Okay, so this is an example with respect to the rolling mean. Yeah, apart from mean, you can also try to find out max. You can try to get different aggregate functions, and you can actually do it. Okay, so this was an example with respect to rolling. Similarly, you can do it for any value of rollings. Okay, like 30, 40, 50. It is up to you. Okay, clear, everybody? Everybody clear? Now let's go ahead and see one amazing thing. So if I write df underscore Tesla, let me create a new column saying that, let me create a new column. So here I'm actually going to say open, and that is basically 30 days rolling. Okay, I'm just going to write it as 30 days rolling. And if I probably write df underscore Tesla with respect to 30 days, with respect to open, and here I'm specifically going to say dot rolling. I hope the syntax is right. Dot rolling of 30. Dot rolling of 30. And here I'm just going to put up mean. Okay. And if I execute this, so here you will probably be able to see df underscore Tesla dot head. And if I execute it, here you will be able to see one more column. Okay. If you probably see top 11 records, then you will be able to see some data over here also. Okay, this is for 30, right? So if I probably see for 31, you'll be able to see at least after some time one NaN value will be done. So here you can see some values are there. Now what I'm actually going to do is that let's try to plot this open and this open days rolling. Okay, so if I probably plot this two, you will be able to see some kind of differences. Okay, so in order to plot, what I will say, I'll say df underscore Tesla, and here I'm specifically going to write open comma, what is the column name? Let me see it. So here is the column open colon 30 days rolling. And if I try to plot it, here you will be able to see some amazing diagram which looks like this dot plot. Okay, and here I'm specifically going to use figure size because I want my diagram to look a little bit bigger, is equal to 12 comma 5. So here now you'll be able to see something like this. See this yellow orange line basically says 30 days rolling, and from the reason why this values are not here, because obviously here you have nans, and remaining all you can see that how smoothened this entire graph has become. This, with the help of rolling also, you can actually do smoothing, but we will be learning about moving average, exponential weighted moving average, and all those things in tomorrow's session. But just to give you an idea what exactly smoothing, here you can basically see an example of smoothing. Okay, everybody clear? Yeah. Why nans in the start? See, understand, rolling basically means what I told you, right? Here whatever function we are getting applied, okay, it is just going down. It is rolling down by 11 steps. It is rolling down by 10 steps. Okay, see the inbuilt function definition over here. If I probably go and see, provides rolling windows calculation, and that is what we specifically do in moving average. Okay, so that is the reason why we specifically are doing that. So here you can, that is the reason you cannot see the starting lines. The interpretation is that this is the orange line is the smoothed version of this zigzag data. Okay, guys, no dataset link. Here you can see from Pandas data reader, I have read the dataset of Tesla. Right. Okay, so how was the learning entirely, guys? Was it good? Did you like it? Yeah, hit like, let's make it to 500. Now let's talk about some of the theoretical information. Okay, so I'll give you 1 minute. Till then, we will start the theory part. Right? So let's go ahead and start the theory part now. Till then, hit like, make it 500. Then probably I'll start the theory part also. So this was some of the EDA things that we do. Do you want an assignment right now? Do you want to do an assignment? Do you want to do an assignment, everybody? Then I'm fine to do that also. Do you want to do an assignment? Just let me know. Many people will say yes. Yes, provide us assignment. Sure. Too fast in teaching. Yeah, obviously I have to be fast. Otherwise, I'll never be able to complete, right? Okay, so here are the tasks. First task, assignment. Okay. First task, read the Microsoft data using Pandas data reader. Second task, get the maximum price of the year from 2017 to 2022. Okay. This is the second task. Get the maximum price of the year from 2017. Price of the stock of the share from 2017 to 2019. Okay. Which is the date of the highest price of the stock out of all the 5 years. Okay. Then fourth one, which is the date of the lowest price of the stock. Whenever there is a highest price and the lowest price, always make sure that you also go and read news. Okay. So you also have to see news. Okay. Probably if you find out at a specific day this was the highest, just go and see why the stock price was so high in the news. You'll get something, some amazing thing. Okay. So this will be an amazing assignment for you. Okay. Everybody ready? Clear, everyone? So I will give you this materials later on. Okay. Now let's go ahead and try to get some more basic understanding with respect to time series data. I will send the Jupyter notebook file. Let's say, let me give it over here itself. I have not created live time series. Let me pick up some data. Time series. So I'm going to upload this file over here and give you the GitHub link so that you can enjoy. Okay. So this is my link. I will just update it in. Okay, guys. So just reload the page, everyone, and let me know whether you can see this GitHub link in the comment section. Sorry, in the description. Quickly. Just let me know. Just reload the page, everybody. Just reload the page quickly. Great. Okay, let's get some basic idea about time series data. The first thing that you really need to know is that what is upward trend, what is stationary data, what is downward trend, then what is cyclic data before we start tomorrow's session. Okay. Now, remember, guys, so let's say I have any sales data. Okay. Let's say in most of the sales data, or let me say that sales of air condition, sales of air conditions or ACs. Okay. Now, during this kind of data, you'll be seeing that you will be able to see your data will look something like this. Do you see probably have you seen this kind of data over here anywhere? Okay. So this is how a sales data will look like. Okay. Now, out of this information, what all information you can basically capture? So here, one thing is that this data that you can see, obviously there are zigzags. There are definitely ups and downs. The reason there are ups and downs because AC sales will happen more on summers. Okay. Second, in winters, there will be less AC sales. So that it may be the reason this sales that may are probably going down is because of the winters. Okay. But again, as you know, more people as the inflation goes high, as people start buying more and more, right? That is the reason why during the summers you can see more ACs are getting sold. But here you can definitely say that this is my seasonal data. But this seasonal data has one very important property, that is it is having an upward trend. Upward trend. Now in this upward trend, what thing can you observe? Okay, what thing can you observe? Upward trend basically means what? The mean, if I probably calculate the mean also, the mean will also be increasing like this. Okay, the mean will also get increased something like this. Okay, even the variance will be almost same. Okay, hardly less variance will be there, but definitely the mean will keep on increasing as you go ahead. Okay, so this is an example with respect to the upward trend. Okay, now if I talk about downward trend, now downward trend may probably be look something like this. So if this is my specific data and this can basically be my downward trend, which looks something like this. Here, you can definitely see that the price of something, the examples can be anything. Over here, this is basically going down. The average mean is basically going down. Okay. So this basically gives you an example of downward trend. Now, one more example that I really want to talk about is something called as stationary. So what exactly is stationary? Okay, in stationary, you will be specifically having the data which looks like this. It will be almost stationary. Okay, that basically means if I keep on calculating the means also, it will almost be in the same line. Okay, and this stationary data will actually help us to do many things. You'll be seeing that later on when we have this specific data, we'll try to convert this into stationary data and then we'll further do forecasting. Okay, then we'll further do forecasting. Okay, so definitely you will be able to see that later on, and it is a very good reason why do we make a seasonal data as a stationary data in order to do the forecasting, because it will give us a very good result. Okay, so this is what forecasting is all about, and not only this, for the other data also we'll try to see how forecasting will be done. Then one more data that I specifically want to talk about is one more data that I specifically want to talk about is your cyclic data. Now, can anybody tell me what exactly is this cyclic data? Any data like your stocks, which will be increasing and decreasing like this and going up, right? So here you will be able to see there are ups and downs. Suddenly it may go up, suddenly it may go down. So this kind of data is basically called as cyclic data. And the most difficult part of the forecasting is this specific data. Okay. Even though I create any kind of models, I cannot guarantee you that my forecasting is absolutely right. I cannot, even 50% also I cannot guarantee, because why? The stock data basically works on people sentiments, right? People sentiments, economy, a lot of things, right? Right now war is going on, and you can see yesterday the price came down, today the price went up, right? It depends, right? We cannot completely be dependent on that, right? But yes, if you talk about sales data, okay, sales data, right, here we can definitely do some kind of forecasting. Okay, here with respect to the sales data, we can definitely do some kind of forecasting. Okay, so these are some basic information that you really need to know before we start tomorrow's information. Please, right now, whatever we discussed with the help of rolling window, that was called as mean average. Okay, so this we got it from rolling window. If you want to calculate mean average with respect to everything as we are going down, so here this is specifically called as rolling window. Then we will also be learning as exponential weight moving average. Tomorrow we'll be discussing about error trend seasonality, we'll be discussing about ARIMA, we'll be discussing about ACF, we'll discuss about PACF, autocorrelation plot, partial autocorrelation plot, and then we will be solving a lot of use cases with the help of Arimax and Serimax in tomorrow's session. Okay, so today the reason I'm going a little bit slow, because learn it and come, whatever things we have done, tomorrow there will be a lot of coding along with different maths, right? So I hope you are able to understand this. I hope you like this session. Please hit like if you have learned this, if you have understood this, okay, and probably you're getting it. Okay, uh, in the later stages, what I will do is that, see, deep learning has not been completed, so multivariate time series problem I cannot solve it over here, because you really need to understand how LSTM works, how bidirectional LSTM works and all. And without covering that, just showing the code will be just 5 minutes to me. Okay, with respect to that, I definitely don't want to go with it. So I'll talk about the plan with respect to deep learning, but let's focus on all these topics, which is again a major confusion with respect to many people. Tomorrow we'll also be seeing how to use FB Prophet to doing the forecasting. This is a library developed by Facebook, so we will try to see this also. Okay, great. I hope you like this session. We'll continue the session in tomorrow's session. And yes, to hit like, and yeah, that was it. Overall, how was the session, guys? Just let me know. I hope you liked the session, what all things we basically did with respect to implementing many things, right? Great. Thank you, everyone. And yes, this was it, the end of the session. I've given the links, everything. Make sure that you subscribe Krishna Hindi YouTube channel also. There also I'm uploading data science videos. And yes, keep on rocking, keep on learning. I'll see you all in tomorrow's session, sharp 7 p.m. with good, amazing topics. And we'll also try to cover that within 1.5 hours. Okay. Uh, this was it. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a great day. Hit like and share with everyone. My request is that, guys, if you're loving this session, share with everyone in LinkedIn, in Twitter, tag me over there, because people need to understand all these sessions are very much important, and this will definitely be helpful in the interviews. Okay, and guys, let me tell you some internal news. The lifetime of the one neuron course is very limited now. Probably soon I'll be announcing what is the last date. My suggestion would be that go ahead and take up one neuron platform where you have 230 plus courses. Recently we also have included Hitesh Chaudhary, who is also a popular YouTuber. With all his courses we are combined, and more YouTubers we are trying to collaborate and combine them, and probably you'll be getting all those courses. And this lifetime opportunity is just for a limited time, guys. Go ahead, take that opportunity. Use Chris10 to get 10% more discount. The reason why I'm saying is that you will get it for lifetime. Later on, you will not get it for lifetime. It will be your loss. Okay. At that point of time, don't tell me anything because I provided everything that I could. Okay. So thank you everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Take care. Hit like. I'll see you on the next video. And definitely make sure to share everywhere in LinkedIn and all. And probably we'll see you in the tomorrow session. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.